What's up, everybody? I'm Clay, and I do want to say thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for understanding that YouTube is now run by AI. Well, it is allowing general discussions about crypto, NFTs, and other digital assets. That's all that this video is. It is not a promise, promotion, suggestion, recommendation, or guarantee of any kind. It is simply you and I talking about the crypto market, going over the latest news, and of course, we're going to be talking about this article specifically here, so let's jump right into it. Now, it says that T. Rowe Price filed an updated S-1 registration statement for its active crypto ETF with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. It says the proposed ETF may include Shiba Inu coin, along with Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, and Dogecoin. The fund will actively manage between 5 and 15 cryptocurrencies based on market data and valuation signals. Anchorage Digital Bank will serve as the custodian, and CSC Delaware Trust Company will act as trustee. The ETF will initially use a cash creation and redemption model and may allow in-kind redemptions later. Incredible, guys. You know, we've been talking about this, and I've discussed it over the years, right? Bitcoin gets an ETF, Ethereum gets an ETF, major altcoins like Solana, XRP, they're getting ETFs. And it's justifiable, right? Because they're doing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars a day in overall volume. And that's how these ETFs make their money, right? It's the slight fees that they charge to actively manage these ETFs. And of course, I guess the more trading volume, the more lucrative it is for companies like T. Rowe Price to get involved with them. Well, we stated Shiba Inu coin may not get its own ETF, but it could absolutely be included in meme coin or diversification ETFs that are bundles of cryptocurrencies out there, and that is exactly what we're seeing right now. You know, it may not make sense, technically speaking, for Shiba Inu coin to have its own ETF at this point. Of course, that is until volume increases and the industry continues to grow. But Shiba Inu coin is being included in these multi-asset strategies. It says T. Rowe Price confirmed that the ETF will follow an active investment approach. The portfolio may hold between 5 and 15 cryptocurrencies at any time, and the filing lists Bitcoin, Ethereum, Shiba Inu coin, XRP, Litecoin, and Dogecoin as eligible assets. The firm stated it will adjust allocations based on market data and valuation signals. So look, do I think this is going to be an ETF that goes out there and buys billions of dollars worth of Shiba Inu coin? No, it's most likely going to keep some sort of a weighted average towards the overall market. You know, I would imagine the vast majority is going to be held in Bitcoin, and then in Ethereum, and then in XRP, and then in Shiba Inu coin, and then in Litecoin. You get it? So it should be market weighted in some sort of respect. It says the ETF will not hold all listed assets at the same time. Instead, the manager will shift exposure according to price trends and liquidity factors. Shiba Inu coin may enter or exit the portfolio as conditions change. The filing states the allocation will vary and remain limited. And that's fine, right? You know, these guys don't want exposure to meme coins when things are very fearful. Maybe, and this is a maybe because I don't know who's going to be managing this, they might be smarter than the average retail investor, okay? They got that job for a reason. I don't know if it's a good reason, but let's imagine for a second that they can ignore the emotion. Imagine they buy low and sell high. Imagine when others are fearful, they accumulate like crazy. And when others are greedy, they logically shave and take some profit. This could be a very good sign for Shiba Inu coin to have institutional involvement moving forward. The updated documents outline the fund's structure and service providers, Anchorage Digital Bank and CSC Delaware Trust Company, and it says T. Rowe Price stated that it may introduce in-kind redemptions later. The structure would allow authorized participants to exchange shares for the underlying crypto assets. The firm added that it will consider regulatory guidance before making changes, and the ETF would trade on the New York Stock Exchange ARCA once the SEC grants approval. Look, clearly either way is fine, right? Because they do have to go out there and buy these assets when they are listed in an ETF. But it would be awesome, right, if you could go out there and buy one share of this ETF and, of course, trade it for all of the cryptocurrency that's involved. This is just the next step in the process of crypto becoming mainstream, becoming trusted, and becoming desired by retail investors across the globe. Look, it's a long time coming. I get it. It's not easy to grow an industry to trillions of dollars in valuation, but it's happening right before our eyes, and we have an opportunity to continue buying as prices are low. You might be saying, I should have bought at 500 points per coin. Now it's 600 points per coin. I can't get in. Dude, look how low we are compared to where we've been in the past. I still view this as a major opportunity, which is why I continue buying. I actually bought a little bit more this morning on the KCEX exchange here.